I helped a woman in trouble. She whispered, "You have no idea what awaits you." The rain-slicked alley in Brooklyn reeked of yesterday's garbage and fresh desperation. The kind that clings to your skin like cheap perfume. I was cutting through after my shift at O'Malley's, feet aching in worn boots, when I heard it. A gasp sharp as shattered glass, followed by the thud of a body hitting pavement. Heart slamming against my ribs, I froze, the distant wail of a siren slicing the night like a knife. There she was, crumpled against a dumpster, blood trickling from a gash on her forehead, her dark coat torn at the sleeve. Our eyes locked. Hers were wild, green flecked with gold, pleading in a way that twisted something deep in my gut. "Help me," she whispered, voice ragged like wind through cracked windows. I didn't think. I just moved. That was my first mistake. Or maybe the spark that would burn us both alive. She was heavier than she looked, all lean muscle under that coat, as I half dragged her toward my beat-up Chevy parked a block away. The engine coughed to life with a reluctant growl, headlights cutting foggy beams through the downpour. "What's your name?" I asked, glancing at her in the rearview, my knuckles white on the wheel. "Jordan," she murmured, wincing as she pressed a crumpled napkin to her wound. The metallic tang of blood mixed with the stale coffee sent from my thermos, turning my stomach. I was Alex, just Alex Rivera, 28 and scraping by pouring drafts for drunks who tipped in regrets. Single out since college, but love? That was a ghost I'd buried under bar rags and bad decisions. Jordan looked mid-30s, sharp-jawed and fierce, like she'd stared down storms and won. "You hurt bad," I pressed, swerving around a pothole that jolted us both. She let out a shaky laugh, bitter as black coffee. "You have no idea what awaits you." Her words hung there, heavy, laced with warning and something softer, gratitude? Fear. The city lights blurred past, neon signs flickering like faulty promises, and I felt it then, that pull, electric and uninvited, coiling in my chest. We made it to my apartment above a laundromat on Atlantic Avenue, the hum of dryers vibrating through the thin walls like a constant, low heartbeat. I eased her onto the sagging couch, the springs creaking in protest, and flicked on the lamp, yellow light spilling over faded posters of old jazz clubs tacked to peeling wallpaper. The air smelled of yesterday's takeout lo mein and the faint lavender from my roommate's abandoned candle. Jordan's eyes darted to the door, then the window, shadows playing across her face like secrets she couldn't shake. "Who did this to you?" I asked, kneeling to clean her cut with antiseptic that stung the air. She hissed through her teeth, fingers brushing mine, warm, calloused, sending a jolt up my arm. "People who don't like loose ends." Her voice cracked on the last word and she looked away, jaw tight. I wanted to press, to unravel her like a frayed thread, but instead I grabbed a blanket from the armchair, the wool scratchy against my palms, and draped it over her shoulders. Our gazes met again, lingering too long, the room shrinking around us. Silence stretched, broken only by the distant rumble of the F train. "Why'd you help me?" she finally said, softer now, vulnerability cracking her armor. "Because no one else would," I replied, and it was true. But as her hand found mine, squeezing just once, tentative and warm, I wondered if it was more. If this stranger had already hooked something wild inside me. Morning light filtered through the grimy blinds, painting stripes across the floor like prism bars. I woke to the smell of brewing coffee, strong black, the way my abuela taught me, and the soft clink of mugs. Jordan was in the kitchenette, bandaged but steady, pouring with hands that trembled just a fraction. She wore one of my old band tees, too big on her frame, the hem brushing her thighs, and damn if it didn't stir something low in my belly. "Couldn't sleep?" I asked, rubbing sleep from my eyes, voice husky from disuse. She turned, a ghost of a smile tugging her lips. "Nightmares have a way of chasing you." We sat at the wobbly formica table, steam rising between us like a veil. She was a journalist, she confessed over sips that burned, going down freelance, digging into corporate corruption in the city's underbelly. "The kind that gets you friends in high places and enemies in low ones," she added, eyes darkening. 32, born in Chicago but hardened by New York winters. Divorced from a man she'd never loved, out to herself but not the world. Her words tumbled out, raw and halting, and I listened, heart aching with the echo of my own hidden scars. Coming out to a family that pretended it never happened. Lovers who faded like smoke. What about you, Alex? She asked, leaning in, her knee brushing mine under the table. Electric. Bartender. Dreamer. Survivor. I shrugged, but my pulse thrummed. The conversation flowed, easy as the East River at dusk, laced with laughs that felt like sunlight after rain. By noon we'd shared stories of botched dates and midnight confessions, her fingers tracing patterns on the tabletop, inches from mine. When she stood to rinse her mug, I caught her wrist, gentle testing. She didn't pull away. Instead, she stepped closer, breath mingling, and whispered, "Thank you," before her lips brushed my cheek, soft as a sigh. The world tilted, scents of coffee and her faint citrus shampoo wrapping around us, and I knew. This was no accident. This was the beginning of the storm. But storms bring thunder. That afternoon, as we walked the block to grab sandwiches from the deli, her insisting on fresh air, me insisting on company, the air crackled with unease. The streets buzzed with the usual chaos. Vendors hawking knockoff watches, cabs honking like angry geese, the sizzle of halal carts promising escape and spices. Jordan tensed beside me, her arm linking mine a little too tightly. "They're watching," she muttered, eyes scanning the crowd. I followed her gaze. Nothing but faces blurred in the gray drizzle. "Paranoid much?" I teased, trying to lighten the knot in my throat. She stopped under the awning of a bodega, rain pattering on the plastic like impatient fingers. "You don't get it, Alex." I exposed them. Shell companies laundering money for the mob. They think I have proof. The kind that buries people. Her voice dropped, urgent, and she gripped my sleeve, nails digging in just enough to sting. The deli bell jingled as we entered, the chime mocking the tension, bellies rumbling over the hum of the cooler. We ordered, turkey on rye for me, pastrami for her, paying with crumpled bills that smelled of old pockets. Outside again, paper bags crinkling, she leaned against the brick, exhaling slow. "Last night, you saved me. But now, you're in it." Regret shadowed her eyes, but beneath it, a flicker of affection, raw and unguarded. I cupped her face, thumb tracing her jaw, the stubble of her unshaven morning soft under my touch. "Then we'll face it together." Our foreheads touched, breath sinking in the damp air, and for a heartbeat the city faded. Her lips found mine then, tentative at first, tasting of salt and fear, then deepening with a hunger that mirrored my own. Whistles from passing kids broke us apart, cheeks flushing, but the kiss lingered, a promise etched in the rain. Back home the high crashed. My phone buzzed, unknown number, a text, "Stay away from her." Or "Join her in the river." Ice flooded my veins, the screen's glow harsh against the dim room. Jordan saw my face, paled. "Show me." We huddled on the couch, her body pressed to mine for warmth or courage, I couldn't tell. The message was from them. Faceless threats from burner phones, the mob's whisper network. "We need to go to the cops," I said, voice steady despite the tremor in my hands. She laughed, hollow, pulling away just enough to hurt. "Cops? Half of them are on payroll. I have the drive USB with names, dates, ledgers. Hidden. But they know I'm close." Her fingers twisted in her lap, knuckles white, and she looked so small then. This woman who'd stormed boardrooms and broken stories that bled cities dry. I pulled her back, arms wrapping around her waist, chin on her shoulder. The scent of her hair, faint shampoo and rain grounded me. "Then we run. Get the proof. End this." She turned in my embrace, eyes searching mine, vulnerability cracking wide. "Why you, Alex? Why risk it for a stranger?" I swallowed, throat tight. "You're not a stranger anymore." Our kiss this time was desperate, bodies aligning on the couch, hands exploring with the urgency of borrowed time. Her nails raking my back through my shirt, my lips trailing her neck, eliciting a gasp that echoed in my bones. The world narrowed to us, breaths ragged, skin heating under frantic touches. But as clothes tangled on the floor, a knock shattered the haze, sharp, insistent. We froze, hearts pounding in unison, the air thick with unspoken dread. The door rattled again, wood groaning under fists that knew no patience. Jordan bolted upright, yanking her shirt down, eyes wide as a deer's in headlights. "Hide!" she hissed, scrambling for the kitchen knife block. I grabbed my phone, dialing 911 with fingers that slipped on the screen. The emergency operator's voice a tinny lifeline. "What's your emergency?" Before I could answer, the knob twisted, locked, thank God. And a voice boomed through the thin panel, gravelly with Brooklyn grit. "Open up, sweetheart. We just wanna talk." Mob muscle, no doubt, the kind with knuckles like ham hocks and loyalty bought in blood. Jordan pressed against the wall, knife gleaming in the lamplight, her chest heaving with silent sobs. I whispered into the phone. "Intruders. 247 Atlantic, apartment 2B. Hurry." Sirens wailed distant, building like a storm front. The pounding stopped, replaced by retreating footsteps and curses that faded into the stairwell thud. We collapsed together, her body shaking against mine, the knife clattering to the floor. "They're closing in," she murmured into my neck, hot tears soaking my collar. I held her tighter, the scent of fierce sweat mingling with our earlier passion, a bitter cocktail. "We'll get out. Tonight." As blue lights flashed through the blinds, painting our skin in erratic pulses, I realized the hook was set deep. This woman, this mess had reeled me into depths I never knew I craved. Dawn broke reluctant over the Williamsburg Bridge, the East River churning gray below like a serpent uncoiling. We'd slipped out the back after the cops left. Questions dodged with half-truths, their notebooks filling with our lies. My Chevy hugged the curve, tires humming on wet asphalt, radio crackling static-laced jazz from WBGO. Miles Davis wailing trumpet notes that mirrored the ache in my chest. Jordan sat shotgun, duffel at her feet stuffed with clothes and that damned USB drive. Her profile etched sharp against the rising sun. Fingers intertwined on the gearshift, sticky with unspoken vows, we headed north, upstate, to a cabin my uncle left me, forgotten amid divorce papers and regret. "Tell me about it," she said, voice soft over the engine's purr. "The place." I glanced over, catching her small smile, the first real one since the alley. "Yeah, your escape hatch." Laughter bubbled up, easing the knot in my throat. "It's a shack, really. Moss on the roof, lake out back that smells like fish and freedom. Uncle Ray fished there till the cancer took him. Said it was where he sorted his sins." She squeezed my hand, thumb stroking my knuckle, sending warmth blooming despite the chill seeping through cracked windows. "Sounds perfect." Silence settled, comfortable now, broken by the slap of wipers and her occasional sigh, deep and weary. I wanted to ask about her, the lovers before, the scars that mapped her skin like constellations, but the road demanded focus, curves whispering threats of black ice. By midday we crossed into the Catskills, pines crowding the highway like silent sentinels, air sharpening with the bite of fallen leaves. The cabin squatted off a dirt track, clapboard weathered to silver, porch sagging under the weight of neglect. We unloaded in the crisp hush, birdsong piercing the quiet like needles. Inside, dust motes danced in sunbeams slanting through warped glass, the air thick with mildew and mouse droppings. Jordan sneezed, a delicate sound that pulled a grin from me. Home sweet disaster. We aired it out, windows thrown wide, her laughter echoing as we swept cobwebs and hauled in supplies. Canned beans from a gas station, a bottle of bourbon that burned promises down our throats. Evening fell soft, fire crackling in the stone hearth, flames licking logs with greedy tongues. We sat cross-legged on the rug, backs to the couch, passing the bottle. Her story spilled then. Chicago girl turned ink-stained crusader. First byline at 22 on a graft scandal that toppled a mayor. "Felt like God," she admitted, cheeks flushed from the liquor. Then the threats started. Low at first, hang-ups and flat tires. Now. She trailed off, staring into the fire, embers reflecting in her eyes like trapped stars. I shifted closer, arm draping her shoulders, pulling her into my side. She fit there, perfect, her head on my chest, listening to my heartbeat's steady thrum. "You're brave," I whispered, lips brushing her temple, tasting salt. "Foolish, maybe." Her hand slid up my thigh, tentative, igniting sparks. We made love there, slow and reverent, bodies tangling on the rough wool, her gasps harmonizing with the wind's moan through cracks. Skin on skin, slick with sweat, the world outside dissolved. Just us, breaths mingling, fingers weaving promises in the dark. But paradise is fleeting. 2 days blurred into a haze of hikes along leaf-strewn trails, where acorns crunched underfoot and her hand in mine felt like destiny's grip, and lazy afternoons by the lake, skipping stones that plipped into glassy depths. We talked futures, her quitting the grind for books, maybe me opening a coffee shop in some sleepy town. Mornings tangled in sheets smelling of pine and her. Laughter came easy, kisses fiercer, but shadows lurked. On the third night, thunder rolled in from the west, sheets of rain lashing the roof like accusations. We lay spooned under quilts patched with memories, her back to my front, my arm banded around her waist. Lightning cracked, illuminating the room in stark white, and her body stiffened. "What is it?" I murmured, nuzzling her neck, inhaling her warmth. "Dreams," she replied, voice muffled. "The kind where they find us." I tightened my hold, lips pressing kisses along her shoulder blade. "They won't. We're ghosts now." But sleep evaded, the storm raging as if echoing our turmoil. Morning brought a chill that seeped into bones, coffee perking bitter on the stove. As I stirred eggs in the cast-iron skillet, grease popping like gunfire, tires crunched on the gravel drive. Jordan froze at the window, mug shattering on the floor in a spray of ceramic shards and dark liquid. "It's them." 2 black SUVs, men piling out, burly faces hard as flint, rain beating on leather jackets. Panic surged, hot and metallic in my mouth. "The drive, hide it." She dashed to the bedroom, stuffing the USB into a hollow bedpost, while I grabbed the poker from the hearth, heart hammering a war drum. The door burst inward, with splintering with a crack that split the air, wind howling in their wake. "Jordan Hale," the lead growled, a scar twisting his lip like a sneer. "Time to come home." She stepped forward, chin high, but I saw the tremor in her knees. "Over my dead body," I snarled, poker raised, the fire's dying embers mocking our stand. Chaos erupted, fists flying, grunts and thuds mingling with rain's roar. One grabbed her hair, yanking back her head. I swung, connecting with a sickening crunch, bone yielding under metal. Blood sprayed, warm on my face, tasting copper. They outnumbered us, but fury lent strength, her knee to a groin, my elbow to a jaw. Sirens wailed again, distant but closing, spurring their retreat. Tires spun mud as they fled, leaving us gasping in the wreckage, her arms around me, sobs racking her frame. "I love you," she choked out, the words a lifeline in the flood. We patched the door with boards scavenged from the shed, nails hammered home with frustrated swings that echoed our resolve. The cabin felt violated, air heavy with the intruder's cologne, cheap cigar and menace, clinging like a curse. Jordan paced the creaky floorboards, phone clutched like a talisman, dialing contacts from a burner I'd bought in town. "I have a guy," she said, voice edged with steel. "FBI leak. He'll bury this." I nodded, brewing tea from wilted bags that steeped weak and tannic, the steam curling like question marks. Outside, the lake lapped sullen at the shore, gray skies pressing down. We sat on the porch swing, chains squeaking rhythmically, her head on my shoulder, fingers laced in a knot of desperation. "What if they come back?" I asked, the question slipping out unbidden, raw as the bruise blooming on my ribs. She lifted my chin, eyes fierce, locking with mine. "Then we fight. Together." Her kiss was salt-sour, urgent, tongues tangling with the ferocity of survivors claiming life. We stumbled inside, making love on the kitchen table amid splintered mug shards, her nails carving crescents into my hips, my moan swallowed by her mouth. It was reclamation, bodies slick, breaths ragged, the world reduced to the slide of skin and whispered endearments. "Mine," she gasped against my throat, and I arched, lost in her, the rain a symphony to our rhythm. Word came late that night, her contact's voice tinny over the line. "Drive's gold. Names dropped tomorrow, senators, CEOs, the works. They'll scatter like rats." Relief washed over us, cool as the lake's mist but laced with dread. We drove south at dawn, the highway unfurling like a vein pulsing toward the heart of the beast. Billboards loomed, smiling families peddling insurance, politicians promising change, their falsity grating after our raw truth. Jordan's hand rested on my thigh, a steady anchor, her touch igniting sparks even through denim. We stopped at a diner off I-87, Chrome stools sticky with syrup residue. The air thick with frying bacon and percolating joe. Over pancakes drowning in fake maple, she opened up more. Her first love, a college prof who left her shattered, teaching her walls were safer than hearts. You tore them down, she said, fork pausing midair, syrup dripping like tears. I blushed, heat rising, but met her gaze. You make me brave. The waitress refilled our mugs with a wink, steam rising in lazy spirals, and for a moment normalcy cloaked us. Two women in love stealing time from fate. New York swallowed us by noon, the skyline jagged teeth against bruised clouds. We ditched the Chevy in a lot near Penn Station, blending into the throng of commuters. Suits rushing, tourists gaping. The subways roar a metallic heartbeat. Her contact met us in a shadowed booth at a midtown Irish pub. Peat smoke curling from his pipe, eyes darting like a cornered fox. It's done, he murmured, sliding a flash drive across scarred oak. Backup insurance. Headlines by evening. Get out of town. Gratitude choked me, but as we slipped away, shadows detached from the wall, tail no doubt but sloppy in their haste. We bolted through alleys reeking of piss and pizza grease, hearts pounding in sync, her laughter breathless when we lost them in a crowd spilling from a matinee. Adrenaline junkies now? I panted, pinning her against a chain-link fence, lips crashing in a kiss that tasted of fear and fire. Her hands fisted my jacket, pulling me closer, the city's pulse thrumming around us. Evening news erupted on every screen. Bleary-eyed anchors intoning indictments, mugshots of suited villains flashing like fallen idols. Jordan's byline, ghosted through proxies, crowned the story. Empire of Shadows crumbles. We watched from a motel on the Jersey Turnpike, neon vacancy buzzing outside like a hive, the room smelling of Lysol and loneliness. She cried then, silent tears tracking down cheeks hollowed by exhaustion, collapsing into my arms. It's over, she whispered, but the tremor in her voice betrayed the lie. I rocked her, humming an old blues tune my dad sang off-key. The mattress dipping under our weight. Love unfurled slow that night, tender explorations by the flickering TV glow. Fingers mapping scars, lips soothing aches, her sighs a melody against my skin. Dawn found us entwined, sheets twisted like vines, the world reborn outside. Yet endings twist. A week later, settled in a Philly row house I'd sublet. Red brick facade hiding our fragile peace. The call came. Unknown number, voice silky with venom. You think it's done, sweetheart? Loose ends get tied. Click. Panic clawed my throat, but Jordan was steel now. Rallying contacts, lawyers circling like vultures. We walked the Schuylkill Trail at twilight, leaves crunching copper underfoot. Her arm looped mine. Marry me, she said abruptly, stopping under a willow's weep, eyes shimmering. Shock stole my breath. Then joy flooded, warm as summer rain. Yes, I breathed, kissing her fierce, the river murmuring approval. But as stars pricked the sky, a car idled across the street. Headlights off, engine a low growl. They weren't done. The real storm brewed, pulling us back into the fray. Love our only weapon against the dark. The wedding was a quiet affair, stitched from stolen moments. A justice of the peace in a dusty office smelling of old books and toner. Wilted daisies from a corner bodega clutched in trembling hands. Jordan in a simple white sundress that hugged her curves like a lover's promise. Me in jeans and a button-down soft as her gaze. Vows exchanged in whispers, rings, thin gold bands bought from a pawnshop pawnbroker who didn't ask questions. Sliding on with clicks that sealed fates. I do, she said, voice cracking on the edges, tears carving paths down sun-freckled cheeks. Our kiss lingered, salt and sweetness, the clerk's cough a distant thunder. Outside, Philly's streets hummed. Clanging trolleys, vendors hawking soft pretzels twisted like our lives. But for a heartbeat, it was just us, hands clasped, rings glinting in the slanting sun. Mrs. Rivera hail, I teased, bumping her hip as we strolled toward the riverfront. She laughed bright and free, the sound bubbling like champagne. Sounds like trouble. And it was sweet, searing trouble that made every shadow worth facing. But the call lingered like smoke. We moved again, ghosting to a Baltimore suburb. A rental with lace curtains and a yard choked with dandelions. I found work slinging drinks at a harborside bar. The tang of crab cakes and brine in the air. Tips fat from sailors with stories saltier than the bay. Jordan holed up with her laptop, typing op-eds that scorched the net under pseudonyms, her fingers flying like accusations. Nights we'd collapse on the sagging futon, her head in my lap, my hands combing through hair still damp from showers scented with eucalyptus soap. "They'll come," she murmured one evening, storm clouds gathering over the Patapsco, thunder grumbling like indigestion. I knelt before her, framing her face, thumbs wiping doubt from her eyes. "Let them. We've got this." Love-making followed, urgent and affirming, her straddling me, hips rolling with waves of need. My name a chant on her lips, breath sinking in the humid dark. Climax crashed like lightning, leaving us spent, tangled, the fan whirring overhead a lazy lullaby. Weeks blurred, a fragile rhythm. Mornings with coffee black as midnight confessions, her lips brushing my temple as I stirred. Afternoons walking the promenade, gulls screeching overhead, her stories of cub reporter days drawing laughs from my belly. But paranoia crept, insidious. A car idling too long at the curb, phone glitches that buzzed with silence. One night after closing shift, I found the door ajar, hinges whispering in the breeze. Heart slamming, I eased inside, the air thick with unfamiliar musk, cologne and threat. Drawers rifled, papers scattered like confetti from hell. Jordan burst in behind me, eyes wild. They were here. We swept the place, finding nothing gone but the air heavier, violated. That night sleep fled. We sat vigil on the fire escape, city lights twinkling like distant fires, her back to my chest, my arms a fortress. "I can't lose you," I whispered, voice raw, lips grazing her ear. She twisted, kissing me deep, hands roaming with desperate hunger. "You won't." Sex on the metal grating, cool and unforgiving. Her moans muffled against my shoulder, stars witnesses to our defiance. The break came via email, an anonymous tip. Coordinates in the Pine Barrens, a meet with a defector from the syndicate, promising closure. "Trap?" I asked, pacing the cramped kitchen, linoleum sticky under socks. Jordan's jaw set, that reporter fire blazing. "Or salvation." We go. Dawn patrol south, the rental's engine straining on pine-shrouded roads. Needles crunching under tires like brittle bones. Tension coiled, her hand on my knee a tether. Radio scanning static for ghosts. The clearing emerged, mossy logs circling a fire pit long cold, air pine-sharp and still. He waited, a wiry man in flannel, face etched with regret's lines. "The boss is cornered," he rasped, voice gravel over bourbon. "Fed's closing. But he wants her bad. Blames you for the fall." Jordan stepped forward, recorder hidden in her palm, questions sharp as shivs. Answers spilled. Safe houses, laundered millions, the hit list with her name etched first. My skin crawled but pride swelled. She was a force unyielding. As he handed a dossier thick as a Bible, tires crunched, SUVs bursting from the trees, guns glinting rain slick. "Run!" he yelled, diving for cover. Chaos. Bullets whizzing like angry wasps, bark exploding in chips that stung my cheek. Jordan yanked me behind an oak, rough bark biting palms, her body shielding mine. "I love you," she gasped, eyes fierce amid the din. I fired back, "Wait, where'd the pistol come from?" "Borrowed from the defector, grip cold and sure." Shots cracked, one thug crumpling with a gurgle, blood blooming dark on ferns. Sirens wailed, feds swarming like avenging angels. The boss's car peeled out, fishtailing mud, but not before Jordan's bullet, steady vengeful, shattered the windshield. He spun into a ditch, metal screeching symphony to our survival. In the aftermath, medics bandaged shallow grazes, the air acrid with gunpowder and pine sap. Jordan leaned on me, legs jelly, her laugh shaky. "Wives of the Wild West." Feds scooped the dossier, nods of respect for her grit. We drove north that night, no destination, just away. The road a black ribbon under stars pricked like bullet holes. Silence companionable, her head on my shoulder at red lights, fingers tracing wedding bands. "What now?" I asked, voice soft as the dashboard glow. "Now we live," she replied, kissing my knuckles. Dawn painted the horizon rose, a promise, and in that light our love, forged in fire, tempered by storm, shone unbreakable. but living meant mending. We landed in Portland, Oregon. Rain-kissed streets lined with food carts steaming pierogies and pho, hipsters peddling fixies past craft breweries bubbling with hops. A tiny apartment above a bookstore, shelves groaning with dog-eared paperbacks that smelled of ink and dreams. I bartended at a dive called the Rusty Anchor, pouring IPAs for poets with tattooed regrets, the jukebox crooning Patsy Cline's Ache. Jordan wrote a memoir raw as open veins, her laptop clacking late into nights scented with chamomile tea. Mornings we'd wake to the patter on the roof, bodies spooned under flannel, her breath warm on my nape. Coffee? She'd murmur, voice husky with sleep, and I'd stir, the machine gurgling like a contented beast. Breakfast stretched. Avocado toast crumbling flaky, her foot hooking mine under the table, eyes locking with that spark that still set me aflame. Yet echoes haunted. Nightmares jerked her awake, sheets damp, her cries muffled into my chest. I'd hold her rocking slow, humming folk tunes from my vinyl collection. Joan Baez's voice a bomb through the speakers. Tell me. I'd coax, fingers tracing spine's curve. Stories poured. The alley beating, fists like hammers, the whisper of death in dark vans. I'd kiss away tears, lips mapping collarbone, hands wandering to remind her of life, soft gasps building to crescendos, her nails digging crescents that scarred sweet. Love as therapy, bodies healing what words couldn't. Days we'd wander the Pearl District, galleries glowing with abstracts that mirrored our chaos. Her arm looped mine, laughing at overpriced lattes foamed like clouds. Normal looks good on you, I teased once, stealing a kiss under a mural of fierce women, spray paint fresh and tangy. She grinned, pulling me closer. It's all you. Months wove peace, but the past clawed back. A letter arrived, postmarked Chicago, her old haunt parchment crisp, ink black as betrayal. Congratulations on the nuptials, it read, a grainy photo enclosed. Us at the altar, candid and cursed. But debts linger. Enjoy the view while it lasts. Cliffside. No, a threat veiled in civility, the mob's remnants snarling from shadows. Jordan paled, crumpling it, but fire kindled in her eyes. We end this. For good. Research consumed her. Contacts rekindled. Feds looped in via encrypted calls that buzzed like wasps. I paced, worry gnawing ribs, but her resolve steadied me. One night, after a shift reeking of spilled stout, I found her on the fire escape, cigarette glowing ember red. Rain sheeting the city in silver. Can't sleep? I asked, sliding beside her, umbrella forgotten. She stubbed it out, turning to me, lips crashing desperate. We made love against the railing. Rain soaking us through, her thighs bracketing mine, moans lost in the downpour. Fight with me, she panted, climax shuddering through us both. Always. The plan coalesced. Bait the beast. A fake meet in the Cascades. Coordinates leaked through back channels, me as decoy. Unarmed, wired, heart in throat. Dawn hike up Mount Hood, boots crunching volcanic scree. Air pine crisp and thin. Jordan waited hidden, rifle scoped from a ridge, hunter's poise from a weekend course, her whisper in my earpiece. I see you. Love you. They came, three shadows in tactical gear, faces masked, guns slung casual as briefcases. Where's the wife? The leader grunted, breath fogging in chill, accent thick jersey. I stalled, palms up, pulse thundering. Dealing. You. Negotiation frayed. Insults flying like fists, until feds swarmed, choppers thumping overhead, snow swirling in rotor's wake. Shots cracked, one grazing my arm, fire lancing hot. Jordan's rifle barked, precise, dropping the leader in a heap. Cuffs clicked, the remnants hauled like garbage, their empire's last gasp. Medevac whisked me down, her face pale above, gripping my hand. Got you, she sobbed, kissing bloodied knuckles. Recovery in a Portland hospital. Beep steady as her vigil, for drip cold in vein. Discharged to our nest, scars badges. Hers emotional, mine literal, puckered pink on bicep. We healed slow, walks in Forest Park, ferns brushing calves, her stories turning to futures. Kids maybe adopted. A house with a yard for chaos. You me against the world, she'd say, kissing me under cedars towering like guardians. Love deepened, roots sinking. Anniversaries marked with takeout and slow dances to Coltrane on the turntable, needle-scratching grooves like memories. One evening, sunset bleeding orange over the Willamette. She knelt in our kitchen, ring glinting. Vow renewal simple band etched with endure. Tears blurred, yes tumbling out. Our embrace fierce, bodies celebrating later in candlelight flicker. Touches reverent. Gasps a litany of forever. Years layered like patina. The book sold. Memoir titled Whispers from the Edge. Bestseller ghosting our past into profit. I opened that coffee shop, Dawn's Brew. Nook in the Alberta Arts District. Beans roasting nutty. Walls lined with her signed copies. Jordan lectured at colleges, voice commanding stages, inspiring young firebrands with tales tempered true. Daughters came, twins adopted from foster Frey, Mia and Lena. For now, curls wild as their laughs, chasing fireflies in the backyard we bought, picket fenced and proud. Bedtime stories her specialty, voices pitching characters dramatic, my harmonies weaving lullabies. Nights after tucking them in with kisses sticky as jam. We'd collapse on the porch swing, wine warming bellies, stars winking complicit. Worth it? She'd ask, head on my shoulder, fingers toying with mine. I'd pull her close, lips brushing temple. Every scar. Love, battle-worn and blooming, our greatest victory. Proof that from trouble's whisper grace could roar. The twins' 5th birthday dawned sticky sweet. Portland sweltering under an unseasonal sun that baked the gardenias into heady perfume. Streamers tangled from the maple, balloons bobbing lazy on strings, the air alive with shrieks and the sizzle of burgers on the grill. Mia and Lena tore through wrapping paper like mini tornadoes, dolls and bikes emerging in a rainbow riot, their giggles a balm to old wounds. Jordan manned the spatula, apron smeared grease, her laugh booming as Lena smeared frosting on her cheek, chocolate war paint. I snapped photos, lens capturing the chaos, her wiping it off with a tender swipe, eyes locking over the girls' heads that spark undimmed. Neighbors milled. Lesbian couple from down the block with their labradoodle slobbering treats. The single dad grilling tips swapped like secrets. Toasts clinked in plastic cups. Lemonade tart on tongues. Stories spinning of playground conquests and preschool dramas. As dusk crept, fireflies winked on. The girls chasing with jars clinking. Jordan pulled me aside to the hammock, netting swaying gentle. Look at us, she murmured, hand on my belly. Swollen now, our surprise via donor due in winter. Family. Kiss soft, deepening with promise, the world fading to firefly glow. But peace phrase at edges. A call midsummer, static lace from an old Fed contact. Remnant surfaced. Low level but vengeful. Watching. Chill spidered my spine, hammock stilling. Jordan's face hardened, but she squeezed my hand. We're ghosts no more. Let him come. Vigilance crept in. Deadbolts checked twice, drives to school routes varied. My shifts at the shop cut short for pickups. The espresso machines hiss a constant now. Nights she'd pace the nursery, rocking chair creaking, while I soothed the girls with tales of brave journalists and bartender heroes. Love anchored us. Stolen moments in the laundry room. Her pressing me against the dryer, rumbling vibrations. Lips urgent. Hands roaming swells of my changing body. Beautiful, she'd whisper, kneeling to kiss the bump, our daughter kicking hello. Climaxes quiet, muffled gasps against terry cloth. Reaffirming life amid lurking shade. Fall crisp leaves to copper carpets. The baby shower, a quilt of quilts stitched by friends. Pastel pinks and blues. Laughter echoing in the community center, smelling of cinnamon rolls and fresh paint. Jordan's speech choked me up. Voice thick, recounting our alley meet. From shadows to this light. Hugs lingered, tears shared. But as cake cut crumbly moist, a shadow detached from the lot. A man in a hoodie, face obscured, lingering too long. Heart stuttered, but he melted into traffic, taillights winking malice. That night, rain lashing windows like accusations, we fortified. Security cam installed, blinking red. Feds looped with dossiers dusted off. Sleep evaded, her body curled protective around mine and the swell, breath sinking in wary rhythm. We'll protect them, I vowed, hand over hers on the bump. Dawn brought resolve, coffee brewing strong, her kiss fierce before work. Harvest Fest at the shop buzzed, pumpkin spice lattes foaming autumn, hay bales stacked for photo ops, kids carving jack-o'-lanterns with tongues out serious. Jordan manned the face paint booth, turning cheeks to tigers and fairies, her focus a shield. I frothed milk, steam hissing hot, when Mia tugged my apron, eyes wide. Mommy, bad man outside. Ice-flooded veins, through the window he stood. Scarred jaw from old photos, eyes locked on Jordan like a hawk. Panic surged, but I herded the girls inside, dialing silent. He approached, casual, but cops swarmed, tipped by our cam feed. Cuffs snapping on wrists, his snarl for the boss. Echoing hollow. Interrogation spilled. Last gasp of grudge, solo vendetta fueled by prison tales. Feds buried him deep, threats evaporating like fog. Winter birthed our Ellie. Cries sharp as joy in the sterile room, smelling of antiseptic and new life. Jordan's face tear-streaked, holding her first, tiny fists waving triumph. Home to chaos. Diapers crinkling, lullabies hummed off-key. The twins cooing over sister like fierce guardians. Nights blurred to bleary vigils, her rocking Ellie while I brewed midnight formula. Steam curling comfort. Love multiplied. Kisses stolen over crib rails. Bodies reconnecting slow in moonlight slivers. Her touch gentle on stretched skin. Whispers of forever amid colic cries. Spring bloomed. Cherry blossoms confetti on walks. Ellie gurgling in the carrier. Jordan's arm around us all. Years stacked like cordwood. Ellie walked, talked, terrorized with toddler tyranny. The twins hit teens, attitudes sharp as Jordan's wit. Crushes confessed in hushed kitchen talks. My shop thrived, expansions to pastries flaky buttery. Her books stacked on shelves, signings drawing crowds. Threats? Distant dreams, feds net ironclad. One evening, porch swing creaking under family weight. Jordan raised a glass. Juice for the kids, wine for us. To us, she toasted, eyes shimmering. Clinks rang, love's chorus, and in that moment trouble's whisper was silence. Our story etched in hearts enduring. Ellie's first school play. Kindergarten chaos. Her as a lopsided tree in green crepe, branches waving wild. Auditorium hummed with proud murmurs. Popcorn scent buttery thick. Jordan's hand clammy in mine as curtains parted jerky. Mia and Lena flanked, whispering bets on lines flubbed. Their eye rolls team perfect. Ellie shuffled on, bark painted crooked, belting photosynthesis off-key but fierce, stealing the show with improvised twirls. Laughter erupted, our cheers loudest, Jordan wiping eyes with a program crinkling. After hugs sticky with face paint, her whisper hot. Our little acorn. Drive home, windows down, breeze tousling hair. Radio crooning indie folk that tugged heartstrings. But adolescent storms brewed. Mia came out at 16, lesbian like us, confession over late-night tacos, shells crunching nervous. Jordan's face softened, stories spilling of alleys and loves one, my arm around shoulders tense. Proud, we chorused, tears salting shells. Lena, questioning, found solace in art classes, sketches of fluid forms pinned to fridge like flags. Ellie, tomboy fierce, climbed trees scraping knees bloody, demanding bandages with bossy grins. Family meetings evolved. Dinners at the oak table scarred with crayon wars, voices overlapping on dreams dashed and kindled. Jordan mediated, reporter's ear keen, while I baked empathy into pies, crust flaky with care. Career crests. Her TED Talk viral, stage lights hot, words on resilience rippling global, invites flooding. I expanded the shop to a chain, 3 spots now, baristas buzzing like bees, aromas layering vanilla and victory. Vacation stitched memories. Yellowstone geysers erupting steam spectacle, girls gaping. Beach in Oregon dunes, sand gritty between toes, kite soaring string taut. Love endured private. Anniversaries in hotel tubs bubbling suds. Her fingers tracing tattoos ink post Ellie, symbols of roots. Sex evolved deeper, laughter mingling with moans, bodies mapped intimate. Crisis knocked autumn sharp. Mia's girlfriend drama. Heartbreak hot as fever, sobs racking teen frame on my bed linens lavender scented. Jordan fetched ice cream pints melting fast, we tag team talks of mending, our story shield. Love finds its way, I said, hugging tight. Holidays glowed. Thanksgiving turkey golden, giblets simmering gravy rich, table groaning with kin, abuela's recipes bridging generations. Christmas tree twinkling tinsel tangled, gifts wrapped hope. Spring brought shadow faint, old contacts ping. Ghost sighted. Low threat. Paranoia flickered, but we doused with date nights. Jazz club in the Pearl, sax wailing sultry. Her thigh pressed mine under tablecloth crisp. Dance floor sway, bodies close, sweat slick to rhythms pulsing. Home lovemaking fevered, her nails raking back. Gasps echoing off walls, papered memories. Summer solstice, backyard fire pit crackling. Esmore's gooey, girls' stories spiraling tall. Jordan pulled me to the hammock, swing lulling, her head on chest. 15 years, she murmured, fingers lacing. Kiss deepened, hands wandering lazy, fireflies witnessing spark. Life's tapestry wove rich, threads of joy frayed by trials but whole in love's loom. Ellie's 8th birthday, pirate theme, eye patches askew. Treasure hunt through the yard yielding candy doubloons. Laughter pealed, Jordan captaining with booming R's. Me swabbling decks with juice spills. Evening bonfire, sparks ascending like prayers, her arm around my waist, chin on shoulder. Our crew, she sighed, contentment thick as smoke. Nights later, twins prom. Dresses shimmering, ties crooked, photos flashing bulb hot. Mia's date, a girl with braids intricate. Hand held bold. Lena's friend, gender fluid flare. Tears pricked, pride swelling. Our legacy, love unbound. Career pivot. Jordan's podcast launched. Edge whispers, Mike's capturing survivor tales. Her voice anchor steady. I mentor baristas, shop a hub for community. Queer open mics, acoustics humming verse vulnerable. Love's pulse quickened. Quickies in the office, door locked click, her bent over desk paper strewn moans bitten back. Or slow Sundays, brunch lingering, mimosas fizzing, toes entwining under cafe tables. Fall foliage tour, New England reds blazing, BNB creaking charm. Leaves crunched hikes, her hand in mine, girls collecting specimens press flat. Evening ins tub steaming eucalyptus, bodies soaking languid, fingers tracing stretch marks like art. Perfect, she breathed, lips on pulse. Climax gentle, ripples echoing. Winter's grip, Ellie's flu. Feverish whimpers, cool cloths on brow. Jordan reading where the wild things horse. Recovery brought snowmen lopsided. Carrots nose runny, laughter snowball pelted. Holidays hearthwarm, stockings plump. Carols off key. Anniversary 20th. Vow renewal on Crater Lake shore. Officiant wind tousled, girls ring-bearing solemn. Rings exchanged anew, engraved whisper no more. Kiss sealed, waves applauding, family cheering. Night tent love, her body arching starlit sighs cosmic. Life's arc bent toward light. Troubles echo faint. Love's roar eternal. Twins graduations dawn double. High school pomp. Caps tassel swing, gowns polyester sweat hot. Mia bound for NYU journalism. Fire in veins like her mom's. Lena to RSD sketchpad soul. Speeches choked. Jordan's mic grip white. Words weaving pride and peril's lessons. Chase truth but guard your heart. Tears flowed. Hugs crushing, photos eternal. Post-ceremony brunch, mimosas bubbling, toasts to futures bright. Ellie 12 now rolled eyes at sap, but squeezed my hand, braces glinting grin. Empty nest loomed but Ellie anchored, teen trials. Crushes confusing, sports bruises blooming purple. Soccer fields mudslick, her goals netted fierce, cheers hoarse from sidelines. Jordan coached weekends, whistle shrill, me packing oranges juicy. Love reclaimed space. Date nights theater dim, her hand thigh-high during intermissions. Home to undress slow, candle wax dripping time. Ellie's coming out 16 summer eve porchlit, words tumbling nervous. I'm bi. Like boys and girls. Pause then hugs enveloping, stories shared of first flutters. Love spectrum wide, Jordan said, eyes misty. Party followed, friends rainbow caked. Music thumping bass heart. Career zeniths. Jordan's keynote at Glad, spotlight searing, applause thunderous. My chain hit 10 shops. Empire small but spiced legacy. Vacations wild. Costa Rica ziplines whooshing canopy. Howler monkeys chorus. Girls now women joining bonds stretching yet strong. Crisis subtle. Health scare, Jordan's mammogram shadow. Biopsy weight agony. Nights her head my lap. Fingers combing worry gray strands. Benign relief flood but perspective sharpened, checkups routine love verbalized daily. Fall harvest, farm stand pumpkins hefted, pies crust crisp. Thanksgiving expanded, daughters partners tables groaning turkey carved, Grace said grateful. Christmas Ellie's art show. Canvases bold colors queer spectrum sales funding dreams. Anniversary 25th. Paris getaway. Eiffel twinkling iron lace, Seine cruises wine sipped. Hotel balcony her in silk slipping, love-making Eiffel shadowed, gasps French kissed. Forever, vowed rings kissed. Daughters' weddings. Mia's city hall wife in suit sharp vows fierce. Lena's garden partner in flowy gown art vows poetic. Tears rivers dances father-mother swapped, Ellie maid of honor beaming. Ellie's college send-off, art school Portland rival, dorm unpacked boxes taped. Hugs airport tight, her flight winging independence. Nest true empty quiet echoing but us reclaimed, hikes hand in hand trails leaf whispered. Retirement whispers. Jordan's book tour finale Mike set down graceful. Shop sold legacy led freedom dawn. Travels bloomed. Japan cherry petals pink rain temples incense thick. Italy pasta al dente gelato melting chin drips. Love's autumn. Slower deeper mornings coffee shared newspapers rustle. Evenings puzzles pieced wine warming. Sex tender. Explorations rediscovered. Bodies story scarred beautiful. Grandkids arrived. Mia's twins boys rambunctious. Lena's girl artist mini. Holidays chaos joyful laps filled stories circled. Jordan's lap riata louds my cookie bakes flour dusted. One eve sunset porch her head shoulder nestled. No idea back then, she mused echoing tidal whisper. I kissed temple salt flecked. Best surprise. Stars emerged, family lights distant, our constellation enduring. Trouble tamed, love's light infinite. Grandkids patter-filled voids. Tiny feet thumping floors, sticky fingers smearing walls with crayon rebellion. Theo and Finn Mia's terrors 3 now building block towers toppling dramatic. Lila Lena's sprite 5 drawing murals wild on butcher paper rolls. Weekends custody chaos. Park picnics sandwiches squished, swings creaking giggles. Bedtime battles stories spun epic with sound effects growly. Jordan grandma fierce corrals with games tag chase breath huffing joyful. I Nana soft bake batches cookie dough scooped. Ovens warm wafting vanilla. Health's toll crept. Jordan's knee twinged hikes ibuprofen chased water glugged. My eyes strained books glasses perched nose bridge. Doctor visits routine but scans clear gratitude breath daily. Love adapted. Massages mutual, oils slick lavender. Hands kneading knots with care. Walks slow-paced, benches claimed for kisses stolen. Daughters' lives bloomed. Mia's newsroom rise bylines bold exposing inequities. Lena's gallery shows, canvases queer narrative acclaimed. Visits video called faces pixel bright, updates traded like treasures. Ellie graphic designer thriving partner steady. Wedding beach vowed, waves crashing applause, us teary front row. Anniversary 30th. Hawaii honeymoon redux, luau lays fragrant plumeria, hula hip swaying rhythm. Bungalow over turquoise her bikini salt-kissed, snorkels finning coral worlds. Nights waves lulling bodies entwined gentle, climaxes soft as tides. Grandkids milestones. Theo's first steps wobbly triumphant, arms outstretched to Jordan's whoops. Finn's potty victory cheers potty danced. Lila's school play fairy-winged glitter-bombed our claps loudest. Holidays epic. Trees ornament-laden heirlooms. Feasts multicultural fusion. Tamales steamy beside lax crisped. Shadow brief. Financial dip. Shop chain weathered recession, but pensions padded. Frugality old friend. Date nights budget baked. Home movies projected wall white. Popcorn butter slathered. Her cuddle warm. Travel tales. Alaska glaciers calving thunder crash. Kayaks paddled close. Morocco souk spice assault. Haggling laughs bargaining rugs woven. Homecomings sweeter. Suitcases unpacked memory stuffed. Love's winter. Aches shared heating pads hummed. Conversations deepened regrets aired gentle. Sex evolved intimate. Oral tender, fingers versed, gazes locked, soul bare. Still you, she'd sigh, post glow. Ellie's baby, our first great-grand? No, her adoption boy named Kai, cheeks chubby, eyes curious. Crib assembled, wrench clicked, lullabies layered generations. Jordan's memoir sequel penned, echoes endured, launches tearful, fans queuing, stories shared. My blog bloomed, barista wisdoms quipped, comments heart emoji flooded. Summer solstice family camp. Tents zipped, mosquito netted, fireside esmores charred, constellations pointed, finger traced. Jordan's tales ghost past lightened laughs, grandkids wrapped wide-eyed. Fall leaves therapy raked, piles jumped squealing. Thanksgiving table 20 strong, Grace collective grateful. Winter's hush, snow blanketing hush, sleds whooshing hill down. Christmas, lights strung twinkling, gifts wrapped, ribbon curled. Anniversary 35th. Quiet backyard vow read, rings polished gleam, cake one fork fed crumbly. Dance slow under string lights, her breath neck warm. Always, promised. Grandkids schoolbound. Theo's backpack oversized. Finn's laces tripped. Lila's poems recited proud. Pickups hugged fierce. After-school snacks apple sliced. Daughter's crises. Mia's burnout leave, us visiting city soothing soup simmered. Lena's miscarriage ache, shoulders cried on soft. Ellie's promotion celebrated dinner. Kai's coos background melody. Travel paused pandemic but Zooms bridged, masks donned, errands masked. Vaccine jabs pricked hopeful, hugs resumed squeeze tight. Love's vigil. Jordan's cough lingered, docs probed, lungs clear, relief sighed. My hip clicked, stairs, cane occasional twirl joked. Spring renewal. Garden planted, seed poked, tomatoes vine ripened red. Harvest shared, picnic blanketed. Summer splash pad. Grandkids water gun squealing. Fall equinox, equinox walks balanced. Winter solstice. Lights kindled, dark defying. Life's circle, love's core. Whispers silenced, roars remembered. Ages layered, gentle. 60s slipped to 70s, mirrors reflecting lines etched, laugh deep. Hair silver threaded wisdom. Jordan's steps slowed, cane carved handle worn. Mine glasses bifocal blurred, but hands clasped sure. Morning's ritual. Tea steeped chamomile calm for her. Coffee bold for me. Porch shared, sunrise gilded. Conversations meandered. Youth recollected vivid. Futures mused, grandkids grand. Health's dance. Her arthritis fingered stiff, bombs rubbed circular. My cataract op, world sharpened post laser. Checkups yearly, scans storyless, gratitude journaled, nightly penned. Grandkids grew. Theo soccer starred, cleats mud caked. Finn inventor tinkered, gadgets were buzzed. Lila dancer leapt, tutus twirled. Visits weekends, games board flipped. Stories oral histories passed. Daughters anchored. Mia editor-chief, newsroom helmed ethical. Lena curator, exhibits queer canonized. Ellie's firm lead designed. Kai tween gangly, soccer emulating uncle. Anniversary 40th. Cruise fjord narrowed, Norway cliff sheer, her arm mine railed. Dinners candlelit, lobster cracks shell pop. Dances ballroom swayed slow. Cabin nights, seas rocking cradle. Love murmured, wave lapped. Pandemic's tail wagged vigilant. Boosters jabbed, arm sore. Gatherings mass tentative. Vaccines victory danced. Family reunions hugged, pandemic proof. Travel tentative. National parks tent light. RVs rumbling road. Yellowstone bison lumbered majestic. Geysers faithful. Love's intimacy. Bath shared, suds foamed, sponges soapy traced. Books read aloud, chapter shared, voices harmony aged. Grandkids rights. Theo's bar mitzvah, Mia's choice. Torah chanted proud. Finn's science fair, volcano erupted foam. Lila's recital, pirouettes poised. Holidays hearth heart. Passover Seder's questions foreplied. Hanukkah, blended. Lax fried golden. Summer camp grandkid dropped, waves goodbye teary. Fall apples orchard picked. Pies baked communal. Winter, holidays hybrid faith. Lights multicultured. Ellie's wedding vow renewed. Kai ringbearer stumbling sweet. Jordan's award lifetime achievement. Gala gowned elegant. Speech humble heart. My cookbook self-pubbed. Recipes love infused. Launches potluck steamed. Crisis crested. Jordan's heart flutter. Stent placed tube snaked. Recovery couch propped. Soups ladled love. Scared me. Confessed bed shared. Her hand pulse felt. Ditto. Kissed forehead fevered. Healing hikes flat trailed. Benches bird watched. Grandkids college bound. Theo pre-med scrubs dreamed. Fin engineering circuits soldered. Lila performing arts stages spotlit. Empty Fuller visits stories deepened. Anniversary 45th. Homebound pandemic echo. Backyard banquet catered simple. Cake tears 45 layered. Vows balcony breathed rings reapplied solemn. Dance lantern lit, steps shuffled cherished. Love's whisper now. Touches featherlight gazes marathon long. Intimacy emotional woven. Memories foreplay. Daughter's empty nests echoed hours wisdom swapped coffee steeped. Ellie's second adoption. Girl named Nova curls coiled family octupult. Travel armchair now. Virtual tour screen scrolled. Passports dusty displayed. Health's ebb. Her mobility scooter word aid. My hearing aids amplified bird song. Grand reunions. Great-grand Theo's first boy named Alex. Cycle circled namesake honored. Holidays grandeur. Tables extended fold-leafed. Chairs mismatched memory. Summer solstice circle fire. Grand great laps held. Fall leaves therapy raked grandkid ganged. Winter, snowman multigen. Carrots donated fridge. Life's coda approached graceful. Wills witnessed legacies lettered. One dawn porch swing her head lolled shoulder soft. Best plot twist, murmured faint. I held tears silent. Love's final chapter open-ended.